Product not yet rated.
There's an ordinary world. Somehow I have to
Welcome to E3 2017.
Oh, do you see it? See what I see
Starting on November 7th, Xbox One X joins the Xbox One and the Xbox One S when it launches worldwide.
Escaping gravity, now we're feeling weightless. Get set, now here we go. I can't believe it. Oh, do you see it? To discover the spinning of wonder, brighter than starlight and louder than thunder.
Even if you haven't made the jump to a 4K TV yet, the new 4K games you see on stage today will look better on your 1080p TV than anything you've seen before.
You're also going to be able to play all of the biggest cross-platform blockbusters on Xbox One. And every game will play great across the Xbox One family, and on Xbox One X runs every single game you've seen even better.
Here we go!
Hello and welcome to Xbox Daily, live at E3 2017. The show floor has not even opened yet, and there's already a treasure trove of gaming news to talk about. I'm Larry here of Xbox Live's Major Nelson, and we're overlooking the stage where just 24 hours, the magic happened yesterday at the Xbox briefing. Today I am joined by an international rogues gallery of Xbox insiders, including Julia Hardy. Hello, Julia.
Hi.
And good friend Graham Boyd. Hi, Graham.
Oh, it's not the first time I've been described as a rogue. Thank you, Larry. Let's get right to it. Yesterday's supersized Xbox E3 briefing revealed a staggering amount of breaking news, including looks at 42 new games. 42.
42.
You can count them. There's 42 in there. A deep dive into BioWare's latest Anthem and the unveiling of the monstrously powerful Xbox One X. How good does it feel to say that out loud, Larry?
So
Xbox One X, I love it. And we're here to go in depth on all the big announcements.
So today and all week long, we'll be coming to you live from the heart of Los Angeles, where we're going to bring you even more exclusives, live demos, developer interviews, and of course, much, much more. I have to say, I'm super duper excited to be here this year.
I'm excited too. It's E3. I love it.
Yes.
And we want you at home to be excited and to be part of the conversation. So if you're watching on Mixer, submit your questions for our guests in chat, and we'll be there listening.
Wow, and of course, all week long, if you watch Xbox Daily live at E3 whilst logged into your Mixer account, and of course you've linked your Microsoft account, you'll receive the Mixpot, which is a digital goodie bag full of Xbox games and downloadable content. Winner!
We want you to hang out with us, and as a reward for watching on Mixer, we'll be giving away all sorts of gaming goodies this week. So, the easiest way to get involved is go right now, mixer.com/Xbox. What are you waiting for?
Right, we're going to get going, but before we dive in, can we just take a moment to talk about our favorite moments from the briefing yesterday?
We
Okay.
must.
I mean, there is a lot to talk about, but I cannot stop thinking about that amazing Porsche 911 GT2 RS that we revealed on the stage of Forza Motorsport 7. This is a big deal. That is the first time anywhere in the world that car has been seen in the flesh.
Well, not only that,
Yeah.
Forza Motorsport 7 looks fantastic. I mean, look at it here.
I mean, trucks.
Trucks.
Got trucks.
I mean,
when I
how
saw
am
this the
I,
other day,
like-
that was the one word I mouthed to someone.
Trucks. How am I not surprised that this was your go-to, Graham?
I know, I'm predictable, but I
classic.
think Forza Motorsport 7, it's a wonderful showcase for the power of Xbox One X.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, just like the console itself, and then to see that Porsche on stage was just
All right, now what I'm excited about is, of course, Xbox One X. Powered by this beauty, this
Look at
is
that.
the engine. This is the engine that is inside every single Xbox One X Scorpio engine. This is the smallest, most powerful console we have ever made, and we're going to get into details about that later on in the show.
I think for me, it was just non-stop. It was like a barrage of games. Like I had to go back through my notes and like what I wrote down.
42.
Like, yeah, 42. 42.
What
games.
accent
That's a
is that,
lot.
Larry?
I don't know. I don't even know what accent that is. And like, I'm
South
from the
African
UK.
or something.
42.
42. And I suppose obviously I was really excited to see a bit more Sea of Thieves, like kind of see a bit more of like
Yeah.
what the gameplay experience is going to be like. But then of course Anthem and Metro
Yes.
both got me very, very excited.
And the thing I loved about Metro and Anthem, both
Yeah.
big surprises. I was not
Yeah.
expecting them at all, and I
Yeah.
love that about E3 when you get those moments that genuinely take you by surprise.
All right, we need to
Absolutely.
stop talking
Sorry,
because
yeah.
we are coming to you live right now from the Xbox Showcase, where media and fans, select media and fans, are getting to be the first people ever to play some of the games that were featured in yesterday's briefing. So let's send things over to Kate Yeager, who's right in the middle of the madness. Kate, what are your highlights so far?
Okay, it's got to be top of the list, has got to be the back compat for the original Xbox. As an owner of the original Xbox, I can tell you it was fun to see how Phil had to stop what he was saying in order to make room for all of the audience applause, and I know I am not alone. But enough about me. We've got a great show coming up, and I'm super excited to be part of our coverage all week long, but there is so much to talk about that we recruited some of our favorite Xbox insiders to help. So let's take a look at some of the eclectic personalities, you'll see what I mean in a minute, you're going to meet later in the week.
Welcome back. As far as I know, the Pug is not included in the presenting lineup. I just want to clarify that. So yesterday, we got a closer look at the long-awaited Crackdown 3, now with more Terry Crews stepping up his boom. So joining me to go in-depth on this amazing destructible sandbox world are Nicole Fawcett, who you just saw in that video there. Well done, Nicole. And Clint Bundrick as
Hello.
well. How are you both doing? Welcome
Great.
to the E3 Daily Show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Very
it. I've been
excited. I like it.
Yeah.
working on my book. So we can't talk about Crackdown without talking about destruction, right? So first of all, let's talk about the cloud-based computing that allows that maximum 100% destruction of the environments.
Yeah.
So our cloud-based destruction that gives you that 100% destructible environments, the things we've been showing, that is our competitive multiplayer experience. We're going to be talking a lot more about that in the future. It's a big part of Crackdown 3. But E3 for us this year was all about campaign. People hadn't seen anything for campaign. We wanted to show that that Crackdown was back, that orbs were back, and we make that playable for everybody. So our campaign is playable online 4-player, but also offline single player. The idea being that in campaign, you save the city. In competitive multiplayer, you wreck it.
All right, fantastic. Right, so many huge Crackdown fans out there. It has such heritage. But if someone's never played the Crackdown series before, explain what's so exciting about the game's return.
Crackdown is this bombastic, open-world, kind of crazy sandbox, right? Where you combine these superhuman, superhero-style abilities where you could jump over entire skyscrapers and pick up and throw fuel trucks. You combine that with insane amounts of verticality and with a completely open world that's open from the beginning where players get to dismantle a criminal empire in any way they see fit. And all that ends up with a very unique experience.
We like to say from zero to hero is the best way to describe it. Crackdown is all about being OP all the time.
Nice, I love that. So, speaking of OP, there is a familiar face joining Crackdown. It was one of the highlights of the briefing yesterday. Terry Crews,
Yes.
who has, by the way, referred to video games as the future of entertainment. Amen, Terry. What was his involvement with the game?
So Terry is going to be in Crackdown 3. He
Nice.
will be playable. So I'm really happy
fantastic.
to confirm that. So Terry plays this character called Commander Jackson, and you kind of got a first glimpse of his character yesterday, which is very similar to Terry's own natural personality.
I thought it was quite a subtle read.
Yeah, you know, exactly. Definitely Terry always brings his 11, so we love that about him. It was like a natural choice for us. I mean, Terry is a living agent. He not only, muscular level is off the charts. He is such a nice, honest, a kind human being that really embodies this idea of, the agents of justice, fighting to save the city. It was just a really natural pairing for us. So we are so ridiculously excited to have him in Crackdown 3.
He's so intense that when he was flexing and doing all that in the suit, he kept breaking it. So parts of the suit would flip up and they'd have to
For
come
real.
and fix it.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
That's an interesting
Exactly.
wardrobe challenge.
Yeah.
So that's great. Terry Crews is going to be in campaign. Tell us more about the storyline of campaign mode.
So we're going to keep a lot of our story details under wraps for now.
Oh,
But
come on.
I know. But the game takes place more than 10 years after the events of Crackdown 2. Agencies thrust back into action after this large global scale attack. That attack is tracked back to a new island called New Providence. The agency knows very little about this island. They only know that it's controlled and operated by an organization that calls itself Terra Nova. So the agency comes rocking up. They expect to be the saviors. They come in with that agency-style hubris, and it doesn't quite go the way they expected.
Nice.
So players are released into the city, and your goal is to dismantle Terra Nova in any way you can.
Great, and we're seeing some gameplay on screen
Yeah.
here, so talk us through this a little bit. We're seeing these amazing Crackdown weapons that we know and love, this verticality, jumping all over the place. Talk us through this.
Yeah, so what you're seeing here is we're fighting over a monorail station. So the hierarchy, the criminal empire in Crackdown 3, every crime boss has a part of the world that they own, a job, some part of the organization that they're responsible for. So I just took out the monorail station. That's now turned that into a supply point for us. And now I'm moving on, and this is an enforcer hardpoint. So the enforcer is essentially the police force of the organization of the island. And so here this is a holding pen for political captives and other civilians.
Yeah.
And you come in and free them, and then we're going to move on down. And so you'll see too, as you level up, you have all your 5 skills along the left. That's our skills for kills system.
Right.
That's this crazy exponential power curve. So at the beginning of the game, you're throwing rocks, but as you level up your strength, suddenly you're throwing fuel trucks. And everything you do is about orbs. And Crackdown's all about verticality.
Thank you for bringing the orbs back. I just want to say, on
of
behalf of
course.
everyone who's ever played Crackdown before, thank you. I look forward to stressing out about finding out.
Exactly.
the last one. Hey, I've got a
new
note
ways to
here.
earn 'em.
I've got a note here that you're going to reveal the gang's bite back system and the kingpin feedback as well. Can we talk
Yes.
about that?
So the Gang's Bite Back system is all about how that criminal empire reacts to what the player does. So like I said, every part of that, every crime boss in the organization has a job. They have something that they own, whether it's the monorail stations or the local police force or the precinct. And the idea is that the player has to figure out what they care about. The player goes and attacks that and dismantles it. So you're either destroying their machinery or somehow disrupting their business. Of course, that pisses them off. So that creates what we call retaliations. So these retaliations are dynamic. They happen anywhere in the world as you start to piss off these crime bosses. So you'll have a fight in an area that was completely different than my own because of who you had pissed off by that point you'd reached in the game. And then as you attack them and you draw them out, and you draw out those retaliations and you deal with those problems, eventually those bosses come for you and they come out personally. So you're drawing them into the world, and those boss fights are dynamic. They can happen anywhere in the city, and all of this gives us one of our key goals with Crackdown is so that every playthrough feels personal. It feels like the game was reacting to the choices you made.
Love that.
And the feed jack system that you talked about a little bit, as you see in the game, you'll see all this beautiful digital signage. So the game takes place in kind of a near futuristic city. So you got this great kind of digital signage, and that is the way for the the captains, the lieutenants. They're going to come and find you where you are, and they're going to threaten you right to your face using that signage. So essentially, they can find you no matter what point in the game you are and start to issue you those threats. And it's really kind of surprising in your gameplay. But yeah, they are mad, and they're letting you know, and they're using the city to tell you and talk to you personally.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you're never safe in Crackdown, but of course, you've got a wide range of amazing agency weaponry to take care of those gang bosses. Tell us about some of the weapons in the game.
Yeah, so I'll let Clint talk about his favorite weapon.
All right.
He's got some good ones.
So one of my favorites is we call the Singularity weapon, and you'll see it a bit in the video here in a minute. This weapon, everything in Crackdown is physical. You can pick up cars and throw them. If you pound lampposts, they turn into weapons. Well, the Singularity weapon pulls everything in. So you fire it, it creates a black hole, it sucks in cars and enemies and props, combines them, and then blows everything up. And because Crackdown has this crazy exponential curve, and that combined with everything being physical, that gun ends up having hilarious and amazing results.
Yeah. Me, I'm more of a strength person, Graham.
Clearly.
Clearly, can't you tell? And I love the idea of throwing trucks, dumpsters at people. Like, that's how I'm going to play. Is I'm going to basically just throw my stuff at everybody.
All right, because the agent himself, or herself, is a weapon, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
Everything is a weapon.
Indeed, that's the world of Crackdown. Nicole, Clint, thank you so much. I can't wait to get down and play hands-on later, so I'll see you there for that. They'll be back tomorrow to show off some live Crackdown 3 gameplay. How about that?
We will.
So, turns out the Xbox Briefing isn't the only place for exclusive breaking news. Right here on Xbox Daily, we've got a world premiere trailer for the newest chapter in the Halo Wars 2 saga. Here's Halo War 2's new expansion, Awakening the Nightmare.
I told you not to go inside.
All right, Halo Wars 2 launched in February, and we're already getting a new expansion. Joining me to tell us more are Brian Gerard, Barry Feather, and Kiki Wolfkill from 343 Industries. Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
Great to see you guys. Always great to see the 343 gang, and it's today is no different. Now, listen, the trailer we saw from Blur looked amazing. Can you tell us a little bit about Halo Wars 2 for people that don't know about it? Who wants to take that one?
Barry?
Oh, you're Halo Wars 2.
All right,
So,
Barry.
EP right here.
So Halo Wars 2, the original, we were UNSC fighting the Banished. In the expansion, we actually flipped that over on its head. We are fighting as the Banished, and we have an opportunity to play the bad guy. It's always fun to play the bad guy.
Sure.
And so I think that fans will be really excited to play as the Brutes, to have that kind of power.
I have been playing, I've been involved in the Halo universe for a long time. Not as long as Brian, but I saw the Flood in there. What's that all about?
The Flood are a great enemy. The Flood are very terrifying. You know, we've seen it in other Halo games. The Flood are coming back here. The Flood are, you know, a terrifying enemy. You know, the Nightmare Awakened. This is the whole point is we have to put them back in their bottle, because if they get out, you know,
bad things happen.
The world ends with the Flood.
Now, you kind of alluded to it earlier, but for folks that aren't familiar with the Halo universe, why is the Flood, why is it a big deal for Halo fans?
Mostly because they can wipe out all sentient life in the universe. Small thing like that.
Right. No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. I mean, we haven't seen them since Halo 3. And I have to say, because we played in the studio the other day, that like swarming infestation mechanic, like, you have a really visceral reaction to, right? You have
get it out, get it out, get it out.
Yeah,
right.
And you definitely don't want to be infected. So yeah, so it's kind of cool because it's such a classic element, and we get to see them come back and play them in a way that's super different from we've experienced them before.
Barry, what else can you tell us about this expansion coming up?
So again, there is the Banished campaign against the Flood. We have some new Blur cinematics. You saw a little bit of a teaser of the Blur work there. We'll have some more of that. We have 2 new leaders, 2 new Brute lieutenants of Aatrox that will be playable in the Banished campaign, but also in multiplayer. On the show floor this week, we have Terminus Firefight, which is a new mode in the expansion.
Swarming.
Oh, look at them swarming. You can see it right there.
It's more of a base defense type firefight, waves of enemies coming in, building defenses. We have these new defenses called barricades that do various things. So it's all about how long can you last, how many waves can you play, and you can play as all of the leaders that we've released both in the original game and in DLC. So there's all these different tactics, and there's different. It'll be 3v3ve cooperative. So I'm Jerome and Aatrox, and how they work together, and you know, all of those interplays will be super awesome.
So I want to point out, there's a lot of components to this, but there's a huge addition for the campaign and multiplayer. So what are some of the bullet points for each one that we can go over?
I'm not going to speak to your game, my friend.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's what we're talking about. There is a full-featured campaign experience from the Banished. So you play the bad guy, as Barry said. You'll encounter the Flood. So there's going to be, how will Aatrox be able to face this new ancient foe? We'll find out. On the multiplayer side, beyond Terminus Firefight that Barry just mentioned, the team's coming out with 2 new maps for the classic multiplayer mode that's already in Halo Wars 2. But the best part is, those are going to be free for everyone. So if you already own Halo Wars 2, later this fall, you're going to get 2 more maps that are playable for Deathmatch, Strongholds, and Domination, just to make sure everybody can keep playing together online.
Now, Halo fans that have the Season Pass, what's up with them?
Yeah, Season Pass is still going strong. So we have been putting out content every month, new leaders, content updates, new features. Recently, Barry and the team added HDR support for Xbox One S, for example.
If you have an Xbox One S and you have a 4K TV with HDR, it looks glorious.
It is amazing. But we still have 4 leaders yet to come with the Season Pass, 2 of which are playable here at E3.
All right.
I think we're going to reveal that right now. We have Commander Jerome and the Arbiter.
Exclusive.
Both playable now. They'll be coming out later this month. And then we still have a few more leaders on tap and a special 2-campaign sort of add-on expansion that Season Pass holders will all be getting in the months to come.
Now that's great news, but the other part of this is there's tremendous excitement around Halo Wars 2 in the esports community. Kiki, tell us about that.
Well, we've got a couple things going on in July, but we have our big HCS. Both our European and North American finals are happening at DreamHack Atlanta. So that's going to be a huge event. We have a $200,000 prize pool, but what's really cool is that prize pool is partially funded by crowdfunding, and the other thing is it's the first time we've had our Pro League and our Open Circuit together, so literally anyone could win the $200,000. So that's coming up on July 21st.
Where do there's a lot of stuff that just happened. Where do people go to check it out online?
So they can go to halo.gg. Is probably the best place to go, but obviously twitch.tv/Halo and Mixer. Obviously, we're going to be big on Mixer.
All right, you guys want to take one question? We only have time for one question to the community. How's that sound?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, from the community, we have Roger1519. Will you ever be able to play as the Flood in a Halo game? Brian.
In any Halo game? Well, in Halo Wars 2, just to clear, they are back, but you will not play as the Flood.
You will not play as
You'll play against the Flood.
How would you do that?
I don't know.
They're just, they're everywhere.
Well, you can be the infection form.
Right.
I'll be like the big sort of
Right.
juggernaut colossus guy,
Swarm,
right?
right.
Like, ever? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
In Halo Wars 2, you'll play against him, not as them.
Right. So now 343 listens to the community all the time. You guys are unbelievable. So I keep asking. They may do it. All right, now Kiki, I understand you brought a little something along special for me.
You know that I love giving things away.
You do. I know you do.
So I will by proxy ask you to give some things away.
Oh, look at
We have
this.
15,000 people on the floor. So this is one of my favorite things. It's by AC Worldwide. So it's a Bluetooth speaker.
Wait a minute, that's a
signed-
speaker?
Yes.
Speaker.
Not a cat helmet.
And it lights up.
It does. Look at that.
Lights up. I have one of these in
Pass this down. I want to take a look
my
at-
woman cave.
You have oh really?
At home.
I need to see photos of said woman cave.
Yes.
That
But
sounds
also signed
Check
by a
that
bunch
out.
of 343.
signed by everybody. Look at this.
Wait,
now I
you don't
understand it
actually
also
have this?
it also makes some sounds, right?
It did.
Let's see.
I think I may have triggered.
Oh, you may have triggered it. All right. It's
yes.
pretty extraordinary. What else did you bring along?
All right, so this
Oh, here we
is a
go.
doozy. All right, so this is Triforce made this hand-painted, life-size plasma rifle.
And these are all signed by 343
yes,
Industries.
signed by 343ers. This one is the primary and preferred weapon of the Covenant.
Grimm signed it. I
Officer
see. I'm looking
Corps.
at it right here. I'm
So
looking
very
at it.
special.
Yeah.
This thing weighs 20 pounds, but life-size.
Now we're giving these
Very
away
cool.
on the show, right? Is that what
Yes, so you get to pick 2 lucky people
we're doing? Okay.
at the show to get these gifts.
All right. So
choose
stay with us.
wisely.
No pressure.
Stay with us. All right, sounds like Halo fans on Xbox and PC have a lot in store when Halo Wars 2 Awakening the Nightmare comes out this fall. And while the new Firefight Terminus mode is playable from the E3 show floor, those of you watching at home can join in on the action as well. Tune into the Xbox Daily on Wednesday when Brian and Barry are going to join us again to play a round of the new game mode. I want to thank everybody here. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks, Larry.
All right, and now if you love creepy post-apocalyptic shooters, brace yourself for another look at the latest breathtaking chapter in the Metro franchise, Metro Exodus.
Every E3, there is one game that I'm always elated to cover, and I will fight any other host to the death who tries to take it from me. Of course, I'm talking about Forza Motorsport 7. I just got myself a Forza pin badge as well there, so I'm looking very smart now. So joining me now to talk about the game that makes my heart beat a whole lot faster is Bill Giese, Creative Director from Turn 10 Studios. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you.
Tell us about the scope of the new Forza game.
This is the most technically advanced, most beautiful, and most comprehensive game we've ever made. We have over 700 cars, the largest collection of Ferraris, Porsches, and Lamborghinis of any racing game. We've got over 30 environments. We've got a brand new campaign mode, which I'm really excited about, called the Forza Drivers Cup. And this campaign mode is geared towards an authentic motorsport series point scoring. Players will have race link tools, and they can take, the cars through these, the 700 cars. We have these amazing car divisions that they can build and tailor their campaign however they see fit.
You're really writing your own motorsport story here.
It's absolutely incredible. And then again, not only with the authenticity of the scoring, they're going to get trophies and some really incredible rewards.
Excellent, love that. Now we saw a phenomenal Porsche on stage yesterday.
Right?
That was an incredible moment. But we know that Porsche's bringing some incredible vehicles as well as the 911 GT2 RS.
Yes.
Tell us about the relationship we have with Porsche and the vehicles they're bringing.
Well, it's great to finally be able to announce Porsche. We've kind of kept it under our hats for a while now, but being able to announce the car was huge. And Porsche, they've got the winningest driving team. They've won so much, and their community, the way they interact with the community is. It's unprecedented, and so it was a natural marriage between the two. And to be able to bring the GT2 RS to the world was great. While I can't talk about all the cars just yet, I can obviously say you saw in the trailer the 919, which is an incredible car. We were lucky enough to go out to Weissach and actually go to the racing division and actually see them put it together. It's an incredible piece of machinery.
All right, fantastic. Now let's talk about some of the other things we saw in the trailer yesterday. So let's start with weather.
Yes.
We saw changing weather conditions in there. How's that going to affect the racing?
So we had a lot of success in Forza Motorsport 6 with our 3D puddles. And what we really wanted to do was recreate what happens to a racer in a stint. So it's lap to lap, moment to moment. And so, with you guys saw yesterday, being able to be on a dry track, see the clouds forming off in the distance, Virga's where the rain breaks, watch that as it rolls through, and then you just get pounded. And when we talk to a lot of race car drivers, they say there's that moment when they're in the middle of a storm that happens to roll through, they stop racing against each other, and they're just trying to outlast the storm. Right? And so we really wanted to recreate that moment, what that feels like, so that when it does pass, they then can continue to compete. But it's not just weather, it's dynamic skies, and the way cloud shadows really change the dynamic of a turn. When you go, you start to learn, motorsport's all about precision, being consistent, and lap to lap, you want to make sure you're doing the same thing. And when you see a cloud cover come through, you kind of lose your bearings a little bit. So it's a great way to make no two races are going to be the same. All
right, we saw some incredible locations yesterday as well. I mean, the trailer opened with this incredible vista of Dubai. Tell us about that location in particular.
Dubai was great for not only building for Xbox One and reimagining what our game is like. The intense heat. What does that do with sand goes across the tracks?
And this road as well. Tell us about this road. It's a very famous driving road,
This is one of the most famous racing roads in the world. People go there, it's gorgeous. And you're showing off a new technique there with photogrammetry, being able to really capture that. Not only for Xbox One X, but Xbox One and PC as well. But outside of Dubai, we're bringing back a fan favorite, Maple Valley Raceway. Fans have been asking it for forever. Magello's being shown on the show floor today. And then I'm also proud to announce that Suzuka is back. And so being able to go to Japan and race there, it's really awesome.
Oh, fantastic. Now, for the more competitive racing community around Forza Motorsport, tell us about the Forza Racing Championship.
Well, another piece of history is going to happen next week at the 85th anniversary of Le Mans. The real world and the digital world are going to meet when the winners of the Season 3 Forza Racing Championship are going to be crowned at the podium at Le Mans.
At the podium?
At the podium.
Actual
podium, the same time the winners of the 24-hour Le Mans.
Whoa, that's incredible.
It's great. Again, partnering with Porsche and being able to make an event for our fans. It's all because our fans. This is what they want. They want us to be able to do things like announce a car and show up at Le Mans in such a big way. But for Forza Motorsport 7, it's not just that. We're going to have brand new leagues. We've got a whole new flow in the game where we're keeping players on track for lobbies. And so they can do things like tune, change their car, hang out, driver gear, which you guys are going to hear more about tomorrow. It's a great way. And then integrating with Mixer. Mixer is awesome because being able to broadcast in 4K, it turns the whole thing into a spectator sport.
All right, fantastic. We've also saw yesterday the reveal of Xbox One X, finally.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh my
That
gosh.
has given you so much more horsepower to play with on Forza
incredible.
Motorsport, right?
It's incredible.
Tell us how that's upping the ante for motorsport.
Well, again, we know that going to a bigger box, like the Xbox One X, and developing for that, you're going to get the 4K textures, you're going to get the better lighting, it's just going to look better. But on top of that, it made us rethink everything. The driving experience, what does it mean? We went through all 700 cars. All the instrumentation clusters are going to rattle, netting, everything just feels alive when you're racing. And so it was important for us to make sure that we make the Xbox One X look awesome and all the other ones. And then, with the Xbox One X, we were able to turn some stuff up. Grass density, particles, it just, and more than anything, HDR. I'm going to just sing the praises of HDR. If anyone has not seen HDR, go to a TV store right now and it changes everything.
It does,
right?
It's a game changer.
And so with us, with Forza Motorsport 7, it looks great on the Xbox One X on standard 1080p TVs today. But in the next 2 years, as HDR kind of moves its way into circulation, the game's ready. It looks incredible.
Yeah, especially for locations like Dubai. That HDR and the 4K is going to be unbelievable.
Yes,
that's
it looks
fantastic.
amazing.
Right, we have a community question for you, Bill.
Yes, all right.
Brace yourself.
All
so
right.
Lil Lulu 125 asks, how many new cars are being introduced? All about the car numbers.
Always about the car numbers. Again, I'm excited about the 700 numbers and Porsches, Ferraris, Lambos, largest of any racing game. We tend to, throughout the summer, announce cars as we go. So unfortunately, I have to say stay tuned. We talk about our car list later on in the summer.
Is there a particular car in there that you know about and you can't talk about that you particularly love?
There's like 10 of cars that we love.
All right.
I mean, honestly, being able to see the GT2 RS, holding that under our hats for so long, the car is incredible. It is just a machine. It's a beast.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Bill, I could talk to you about this all day.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. We'll do it afterwards.
All
Thank
right.
you very much, Bill. Forza Motorsport 7 comes out October the 3rd. And don't worry, we'll have a lot more Forza all through this week. Now, earlier this morning, Microsoft announced Age of Empires Definitive Edition, a remastered version of the groundbreaking RTS powerhouse. And for those of you who missed the big reveal, I know it was a late night last night for us over in Europe. It's a busy time. Let's take another look right now.
Oh, you want to feel old? This year marks the 20th anniversary of Age of Empires. And to celebrate, Age of Empires Definitive Edition is coming exclusively to Windows 10 with fully remastered graphics that support up to 4K resolution, a beautiful reorchestrated soundtrack, brand new narrative, major gameplay improvements, Xbox Live support for multiplayer, and more.
And the celebration continues this August at Gamescom in Germany. But right now, if you want an opportunity to join the closed beta of the remastered Definitive Edition, you can sign up for the Insider program at ageofempires.com.
And Age of Empires wasn't the only big announcement we saw at Microsoft's PC gaming event.
No, that's right.
That's right. You know that, right?
I do know
Tell them.
that. I had the will. Give me a chance. God. Right, the folks at Xbox and Microsoft Studios revealed that Forza Motorsport 7 will be the most comprehensive racing game ever on Windows 10.
And hold on to your hats because it can run at 60 frames per second and higher with uncapped frame rates and support for 4K UHD Windows 10 PCs, including Ultrabooks. Plus, it will feature full mouse and keyboard support and, check this out, multi-USB functionality. That's a fancy term for saying all your fan-requested racing wheels.
And of course, Sea of Thieves, the highly anticipated shared world pirate adventure, will support 4K at 60 frames per second, an unlocked frame rate, and of course a 21:9 ultra-wide aspect ratio, which is extra spectacular to make, all the ocean look all shiny and fancy.
Yeah, get an eye on those pirates. And the best news is that Microsoft is continuing to bring Microsoft Studios' world-class IP to Windows 10, the best version of Windows ever for gaming. We're talking native live game streaming with Mixer, DirectX 12 graphics technology, game mode, game DVR, game bar, and of course, Xbox Live support.
And now we've got a look at the latest installment in the Wolfenstein saga. I'm very excited about this. Let's check it out.
You think you're a hero?
We're organizing for a revolution in America.
We?
You take freedom away from the American people, you're playing with fire.
Arguably the biggest announcement of yesterday's briefing was the Xbox One X. We're talking true 4K Blu-ray playback and the fastest, most advanced console processor ever in a tiny little box. To break it all down for us, please welcome a good friend of mine, General Manager of Xbox Games, Mr. Aaron Greenberg. Aaron, what's going on with this shirt you're wearing?
Yeah.
Well, we'll start right there. It's good to see you both.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Hi.
That's all right.
Every time I see you, you have a different shirt on. It's like you're going into wardrobe changes every 10 minutes.
Really?
I got 6. I got 6 teraflops, Larry.
Have you
That's
got
what
6
it takes to
teraflops?
power the most powerful console in the world.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, this is illegal in some countries.
Really?
It doesn't matter. We're bringing it to the world, Larry. We're very excited.
I want to talk to you, Aaron, because you've been to many E3s like I have.
Yeah.
What are you most excited about?
Well, I remember 16 years ago when we unveiled the first Xbox here at E3.
Yeah.
And at that time, we came with a box that was more powerful than anyone else had on the market. And to come back 16 years later, after thousands of Xbox games have been built, and to unveil Xbox One X, a system with 40% more graphical power, 60% more memory for developers, a massive leap over anything people have seen, and really usher in true 4K gaming, that's something I'm incredibly excited about. But of course, it's not just the hardware, people want to see the games.
Of course.
Well, yeah, speaking of games, obviously there was a huge amount of stuff that was announced yesterday. It's like, what's kind of some of your favorites? What have you got your eye on?
Well, first, I think we really need to show people what true 4K gaming looks like. And to me, the killer app for Xbox One X has to be Forza Motorsport 7.
Yeah.
I mean, it's running at a native, true 4K, 60 frames per second, to be able to unveil the fastest production 911 Porsche in the world on our stage.
That was mad,
And then
yeah.
let you drive the new cover car in the game. Something we're incredibly excited about. But, I'm a big fan of Crackdown. I played the original. We talked a lot about the online multiplayer and destruction previously, and today we came back and showed the campaign at E3. So to be able to show Crackdown, I'm really excited about. Sea of Thieves I thought the Sea of Thieves segment, a lot of progress has been made on that game over the last year.
Yeah.
State of Decay 2, another big title that we're bringing on the first party side, and man, the third party titles, Metro, Assassin's Creed, Anthem, all showing the benefits
Those
that
are just the ones that
get.
were on the stage. Of course, Xbox One X and the entire Xbox One family are going to play all those great games you love, right?
That is correct.
The Destinies, the Call of Duties, the list goes on and on.
Whatever your favorite game is, you can know that if you play it on Xbox One X, it will play better. It's the most powerful box. You get the benefits of that power. Whether you have a 4K TV or an HD TV, you're going to get the benefits of a huge leap in power.
You know what else you get?
What is that?
I'm going to coin this term right now.
Okay.
Way backward compatibility.
That is true. That is true.
Super backward.
We have nearly
Far backward.
400 backward compatible titles today with Xbox 360. People remember 2 years ago at E3.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the most magic moments of the recent years. And we went a bit deeper because our fans asked us to.
Yeah.
We're bringing original Xbox games.
How are they going to look?
They actually look great. We have Crimson Skies running here.
Yeah.
Last night we were playing Crimson Skies. We were able to system link from an original Xbox to an Xbox One, which is really incredible. So it's really fun to be able to now have 3 generations of games all playable on one box.
It's a whole family of people
We brought the whole family together.
Yeah.
And so for people that are fans, it's great. For folks that are newer to the Xbox family, you'll be able to play those games for the first time. And it's not just a benefit for Xbox One X, Xbox One S owners will also get the benefits of all those titles as well.
Right.
So what's actually going to be like upgradable at launch then in terms of the...
We are going to wait to reveal all the details.
Oh,
We like
come on,
to-
you're here,
We have
you
to
could
keep
just
some
tell
suspense
us.
between now and
No,
holiday.
I want to
But we
know
did show
now.
Crimson Skies, which is the #1 fan
Yeah.
favorite. There's a big library of titles there. We have an incredible engineering team there that's worked on back compat, and they've solved how do we actually then go one generation deeper with the original Xbox games. But the discs will work. You can actually cross-link across all 3. If you digitally own the games, it'll work as well. So it's gonna be fun to do that. But we're gonna, the team will put together a collection, and we'll share more details when we're ready.
No more rummaging around at the back of the cupboard trying to find old cables to connect things up just to prove a point,
You'll be rummaging for those Cheetos.
Well, always.
Well, the Duke controller's back. Did you see that?
I saw that news today. I don't know what's going on in there.
What's old is new again, which is kind of fun.
Partying like it's 2001.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about 4K.
Yes.
What does it mean for fans? Because some people may not have a 4K TV, or maybe they've got a 1080p TV.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that.
Well, one thing is that you should know that if a game is made in true 4K and you play it on your Xbox One S, so you play it on an HD TV, you're actually going to get the benefits of super sampling. So they take that true 4K and they super sample it, so it will actually look and play better on an HD TV.
It's
So
optimized for performance,
correct.
right?
So
Yeah.
even, of course, if you have a 4K TV, you're going to get the benefits of true 4K gaming. And we knew that that took a lot more power. That took a lot more memory. We put 12 gigs of DDR5 memory into our box. We put a 6 teraflops graphical processor.
There's
in
a
there.
lot of words today.
You just listen, it's amazing. And then, a lot of cooling. I mean, to be able to have a liquid cool vapor chamber to manage all that power. The power brick is built into the box.
Yeah.
The box is the smallest Xbox ever made. It's just an incredible thing to share along with the games lineup.
Aaron, I want to before we move on, I want to talk to you about the fans.
Yes.
I mean, people follow you on Twitter like they follow me, etc. But we're always we have Fan Fest. Tell me about your favorite meeting. You have a favorite fan you met, right?
Wow, it's hard to pick a favorite fan,
I
but
know.
I'll tell you, I got to meet a gentleman by the name of Sightless Combat.
Yeah, we both
Ben,
did.
and we've been communicating over the last year or so. And he plays Killer Instinct. He's completely blind.
Yeah.
And he plays Killer Instinct just by the audio cues.
Oh, wow.
He's actually quite good.
And he joined us at
Wow.
the briefing.
Yes.
You can see it. You can see it. We're talking to
I
him here.
invited Ben to E3, and with some support actually from the government in the UK. He
Yeah.
was here. We hosted him. And the team actually put together a special haptic chair
Yeah.
that was programmed so that all the rumble and effects, when the Forza car hits the wall, you could feel it.
He felt
so
it.
Ben was actually able, in many ways, to feel what he couldn't see, and he was able to experience all those same moments of the briefing. That had to be my highlight. And what an incredible, incredible guy. We were talking so long. I almost had to get pulled away so the briefing could start. But we had a great chat, and it's just special. I mean, that's one of the wonderful things about what we do is to be able to see fans like that, and
also
hopefully create a memory that they'll never forget.
But also gaming is the kind of great leveler, really. Like if you do have a disability, it's actually you can with the right kind of adaptations, you can actually play and stand toe to toe against other gamers and compete on that kind of level. So it's
Absolutely.
quite fantastic.
No, the power of gaming is impressive. I mean, Larry and I earlier this year went and helped bring a lot of gaming carts to children's hospitals in Seattle.
Yeah.
It's the biggest donation in the history of Gamers Outreach. And kids that are going through those things, it's great to be able to do that. You're right. Steve at Able Gamers is a good friend as well. The stuff they do to help people experience gaming. I mean, gaming is a major form of entertainment, and everyone should be able to enjoy that. And so really, that's important for us as we think about the type of community we're building, really building something around gaming for everyone. Yeah. And I definitely have a lot of passion there, so I personally do donate time outside of work. And I know, Larry, you do as well. And it's one of the most rewarding parts of our job, to be honest.
Oh, wow. Well, we could talk about this all day, honestly. I really could. But anyway, so the Xbox One X is available November 7th for $499. And for fans who want to get a closer look at the Xbox One X in person, but you're not here at E3.
Right.
You can feast your eyes on display units in Microsoft's flagship stores in New York, Sydney, Australia, and Century City in Los Angeles.
And remember that you can chat with us and ask questions for our interviewers over at mixer.com/Xbox. PS will also be giving away some free digital goodies there. So go on, get.
Can we win?
No, we cannot win.
Oh well. And now let's send things over to a lady who does love a good mixer. So I've heard. It's over to Kate.
Cheers. Well, I am here with the creators of the beloved indie Ori and the Blind Forest. We've got Thomas and Gennady here. Guys, thank you so much for being here. First question I have to ask, what was it like watching the composer on the piano on this stage behind us at the briefing?
Well, as creators, you get to see the content you're making for, I don't know, probably like 2,000 times, 3,000 times, something like that. So at some point you get a little bit numb to it. So for us to be here and see, when the stage turned and Gareth appeared and he started playing these opening chords, I saw Thomas tearing up. It's just electrifying and really emotional for us. And it's not an easy thing because, we've seen the asset so many times. So I think it went great. It sounded better than we've ever heard it in any of the earlier mixes. So it's just awesome.
Thomas, is that right? Did you tear up?
A little.
I saw it. It happened.
Witness. Excellent. Well, guys, let's talk story for a minute. What can fans expect from Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which is going to be coming out here soon, not too long from now? What can they expect story-wise?
So we actually can't talk that much about story. Don't want to give anything away. But if you actually played Ori and the Blind Forest and you looked at the teaser for Will of the Wisps, there's a lot of things there where you could make connections and already figure a couple of things out. So we just want people to speculate a little bit.
I like that. Now, it has to be said that Ori and the Blind Forest is a difficult game to master. The Ginzo tree alone, I can't. My question here is, can we expect the same difficulty in the Will of the Wisps?
We definitely like challenge. So that feeling of accomplishment when you actually finish the dungeon or something really difficult, right? And you're like, oh my god, that was me, I did this, that's awesome. We still want to keep that, but at the same time, we want to make sure that, there's no hard stops anymore for people. So it's more balanced this time around.
One of the things that I know fans absolutely love are the amazing puzzles. Can we expect that from Will of the Wisps?
Yes.
A lot of them. Felt right to me there. And last but not least, I hear there's a plushie, and I see it down at my feet, and I want to make sure that we get this in, because this is another fan request, right?
Oh my god, we got so many emails from people ever since Ori and the Blind Forest released. Just crazy email requests about plushies. And now finally, we have them ready. They're ready for pre-order.
Look how cute he is. I want to get one right now. Can I get it? Can I grab it home?
I'm going to say yes, but that's plushies. That's how this interview works. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Gennady and Thomas from Ori. You guys are the best. Now, one more thing I got to make sure that you guys also know. Right now, the original Ori game is 50% off on Xbox Live this week only. So make sure to check out Ori and the Blind Forest.
Get it the game.
Excellent. And now we're going to toss it over to our friend Graham.
I'm not ashamed to say that I did shed a couple of tears when Ori was on the briefing yesterday. But from Ori to something much more colourful, yesterday platforming fans were wowed by the candy-coloured world of Super Lucky's Tale. And joining me now to talk about our studio design lead, Dan Hurd, and Paul Bettner, the founder and chief executive officer of Maple Corp. Now, gents, the trailer was absolutely adorable, so thank you for bringing that to the stage. Can you tell us more about the story in this platformer, please?
Sure. So there's a magical tome in the world of Lucky's Tale called the Book of Ages. And in that tome, all these different worlds they live and breathe inside that tome. So a bad guy kitty named Jinx has threatened to steal that tome and write his own version of the world in it. And so Lucky, maybe he doesn't quite know the full role that he's going to play, but he sets off to make things right.
All right, tell us more about Lucky as a character. Like, he looks pretty cheeky up on the stage.
So obviously he's our adorable hero, right? He's a little bit shy, but very courageous. You know, he wants to be everybody's friend. There's a lot you learn about him as he interacts with all the different characters and kind of all the puzzles and things that he encounters in the game. You kind of get to see his personality come out.
Lovely. I want to hear more about these other characters, but first of all, could you clear something up for us? Me and the production team were having an argument about the guy with the little stinky coming out of his head. Is he a garlic or an onion?
He is so obviously a garlic.
A garlic! I said onion! The production team swore it was a garlic.
So I have a question. Have you seen an onion before?
Yes. I'm from Scotland. We've got different onions. Scottish onions.
Okay, so I should clarify. American garlic.
American garlic. Well, that clears it up, doesn't it? Okay, so tell us about him and the other characters in the game as well.
Right. So, you know, one of the big things that we wanted to bring out was not only do we have many more ideas about different worlds and characters to meet, we wanted just the depth of interaction to be a lot more than in the first Lucky's Tale. So we have more characters, even Jinx. In the demo you can play today, we have Master Mittens, one of his kids. And so he's actually got several kids that have run amok, and they're called the kitty litter. And so you'll have kind of this antagonistic relationship with them, but maybe they're not getting evil quite right. So you'll see them in different situations as you progress. And then, like the garlic, there's a lot of NPCs you'll meet along the way, the people who live in these worlds.
Okay, fantastic. Now, we could see in the trailer, this is like classic platforming action.
Yeah.
Tell us about some of your influences for Super Lucky's Tale.
We all had this experience growing up, right, where some new hardware would launch, some new console, you just can't wait to get your hands on it for Christmas. It's under the tree, you open it up, and it's like, what's the first thing you want to play? It's just a colorful platformer that's all about collecting coins and you know, these enchanting characters. All this. That's what I grew up with, that's what Dan grew up with, and it's just, you know, we kind of haven't had a lot of that lately, so it's really great to be here and to be able to have that sort of Christmas with Lucky this year.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned collecting coins.
Yes, of course.
That, you know, that was something that really stood out, really reminds me of gaming when I was a kid. Are there other retro throwbacks in the game like that?
Sure, so we wanted to strike this balance. We wanted collectibles to be in there, but we didn't want it to be just so saturated with things to collect that the task itself is onerous, right? So we have several punchy little collectibles in there for you to find. Some are more secret than others. And they give you a variety of things, from unlocking levels to telling a little bit more of the story. So we think once you've been in the level, you're going to collect some amount of those things, and then maybe you'll be drawn back in to collect just those last few to get that last reward. And that builds that nostalgic feeling to me. But also, you know, we wanted to take another step into nostalgia, or just the way that we envision those worlds from our youth, right? Like, sure, we were exploring those worlds, but now, you know, many years have passed, so we can explore those or realize those worlds even more beautifully, more compellingly now. So great.
Well, another part of that is, so like both nostalgia and something new. You know, the nostalgia component is you kind of, every time you play a new platform, you expect some signature move, right? The character's going to have some move. And in this game, it took us a little while to find that move, actually. It took the first couple months. We weren't sure what it was going to be. You know, he's got a tail swipe, he's got a double jump. But finally, we got this one move, and you can see it in the demo now, where we call it the burrow, and he just dives into the ground, and it's just so satisfying to do. And that's how we kind of knew that we were onto something, because when you're doing it more than you're running, like you don't even want to run around, you just want to do this burrow thing constantly. There's like this really great rhythm to it. And I think it's just so important for a platform. It has to have this flow, and that move is perfect. The signature move for this game.
When are we going to be able to play it, and on what platforms?
So it's going to launch on November the 7th, and it'll be across the the Xbox family of devices and Windows 10.
Excellent. Thank you, Paul. I would just like to also congratulate you on your jacket. It's not often that someone out-snazzes Larry on this stage with a jacket, so congratulations. I think he's quite angry over there, actually, somewhere. He's not happy. Gents, thank you so much. Good luck with
Thanks a lot for having
me.
All right, here's Kate with a closer look at the new game streaming service, Mixer.
Thank you so much, Graham. I am here with James Bohm and Matt Sassamende to talk all things Mixer. First off, huge congratulations to you guys, absolutely. Secondly, it's worth mentioning that Unfortunately, you guys may not be old enough to drink, but you are old enough to change the game streaming industry. First off, James, talk to me about how did this even happen?
Yeah, sure. So in 2014, Matt and I were working with a group of content creators, and we got to hear out some of their concerns and their pain points in the streaming industry, something they were really passionate about, and it was also something Matt and I were really passionate about, helping creators grow, helping them, just in all general things. So we saw an opportunity to build a platform that focused on creators, solve some of those pain points, and that's where the inspiration for Mixer came from.
Excellent. Now, Matt, you were telling me, James, this is your first time to E3, is that correct? Matt, this is your second. This is a very different E3 experience than last year.
It really is. It absolutely is. So we actually came here, I came here for the first time last year. Beam was actually originally an independent startup. We got acquired. We were talking about the acquisition last year, which was crazy cool. And then we relaunched as Mixer with Microsoft, doing tons of crazy cool stuff around co-streaming, our new Mixer Create app. We've been launching so many awesome things in partnership with Xbox and the teams here. It's been a crazy journey. So lots of change.
Okay, so audience members who may not know, you're hearing the word Mixer a lot. What is Mixer? Let's talk about that again.
So Mixer is our interactive live streaming platform. The idea is instead of just broadcasting and maybe playing the game and trying to be entertaining, you can actually involve your audience really deeply in what you're doing. So it starts with super low latency. You broadcast with less than 1 second of stream delay. So as a viewer, you have this option to go in and enable low latency mode, and that allows you to actually chat and interact in real time with the streamer. And that's completely different than what you would get on maybe a different platform where there's more latency, more delay in those conversations. What it also allows us to do is actually allow viewers to participate in the gameplay itself. So if you're watching a streamer play Minecraft, for example, the streamer might be able to enable a mod that allows viewers to give them weapons, control the enemies that they fight, give them tools, all kinds of crazy stuff that actually allows you as a viewer to have a fundamental part of the stream be yours. It's pretty cool.
Let's talk co-streaming. That was a big announce that happened on the 25th of May. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so co-streaming is our feature that allows you to bring multiple perspectives all onto the same page. So we see all the time with games like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, which we had some cool news about here at E3. With PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, you've got a squad of 4 people, and with co-streaming, you're actually able to allow all of those perspectives to be viewed at once on one channel page with all your friends, join chat. We make it a seamless experience for you to watch this kind of multi-perspective stuff right on the platform. It's super easy to get started. We're rolling out an update on Xbox that allows you to start co-streams right from the dashboard where you have your friends. It's super cool.
Speaking of super cool, James, I hear you guys brought some streamers with you. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Mixer has a partnership program. We were able to bring out a lot of our partners to the event here, and they got to debut Sea of Thieves world first premiere to stream it. First streamers ever to stream Sea of Thieves gameplay live from the Mixer booth here at the Galen Center. Really cool experience. We've got a Mixer lounge for our partners out of the show floor for E3. Really, really incredible things that we're just trying to provide as much value to our partners that produce amazing content on the platform. So we're super excited to have them here, and we can't wait to keep working with them.
Man, you guys are just having quite the year, and I can tell you we're very excited. Mixer.com, which you should totally be watching us on. Go there, enjoy yourself. Matt, James, thank you so much. Thank you. We're going to send it back to the stage.
Since it was first announced, we've all been anxiously anticipating the swashbuckling go-up of Sea of Thieves.
And right now we're joined by Rare's Joe Neat and Craig Duncan to talk pirates, plunder, and my personal favorite,
I was gonna
the
literally
pursuit of booty.
I was literally going to say exactly
You
the
two love
same.
the
I wondered if
practicing,
there would be a
haven't you?
Jimmy
No, but did you see at the end of last year's show the last thing that he said before it cut cameras?
Yes.
Somebody touched my booty. I was like, I can't believe they ended on that, but there we go.
Every time it comes to Ray, he says the same thing. I don't know why.
Well, booty, you are obsessed with booty, Gray. It's weird. Anyway, so we saw lots of new stuff in this year's footage. Like, what can you tell us about how the game, as it kind of stands now? Because obviously, it's come ahead quite a lot. We've seen a lot more in terms of gameplay, like what we're actually going to be doing.
Yeah, and I think like last year, Sea of Thieves obviously went down hugely well. Everybody loved what they saw in the ship battling and the
drinking whilst drowning.
Yeah, drinking whilst drowning. The incidents, but a lot of people were like, what do we do? Show me what I'm going to be doing. What are the goals I want to pursue in Sea of Thieves? So we were really keen to just show a typical adventure in Sea of Thieves, right? So with the briefing, with the walkthrough we showed, it's a crew going on an adventure, like exploring shipwrecks in the water, showing that there's just as much kind of under the sea as there is above the sea.
That was surprising.
Yeah. And then going onto an island and showing real island gameplay and like exploring those kind of dark caves and trying to solve this riddle. And at the same time,
the riddle.
Yes.
I'm loving the riddles. I love that.
Yeah.
Right?
I
You
know.
want to
We
feel
said it 3
smart.
times Yeah, I know,
I mean,
like-
you could just wander around the island and figure it out probably, but like
it
you
just
wanna feel
it
a bit smart.
changes completely how you approach just how you think about islands, because before they were just a means to an end. You'd go there, dig stuff
Yeah.
up, and then leave.
Yeah.
And now you're having to explore, look at stuff, solve things in a different cerebral way, really.
Yeah.
And I love that about it. And so, like,
It's classic pirate as well, though,
Yes,
right? Isn't
it is.
That idea of the riddle and the map,
Yeah.
and figuring
And,
out the clues.
Like, we are going to make the pirate game that you've always wanted. That's the kind of
the goal.
phrase
That's
we're
the
using,
vision,
right?
yeah.
But it is, and it's all like. We're not ashamed of tropes and cliches, right? Like,
but that's
we're going to
what you
embrace them, right?
That's
so yeah,
what you want,
absolutely,
right?
because
And
they're all
booty.
the
Yeah, embrace the booty. That's
yeah,
what I
embrace
said.
it.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry, no, someone told me to stop saying
Great.
Sorry.
Embrace the booty.
But like, all of the TV shows or films or books you've ever read,
Yeah.
Treasure Island, The Goonies, whatever. Like, that's where we can look for our inspiration,
Yeah.
and those are the kind of things we're going to be bringing in, right?
Yeah.
And
it's also-
we're sorry, go on.
Go for it.
I was going to say, and we're going to be letting you fire yourself out of cannons because why not?
Hilarious.
Right? Yeah.
That was hilarious. I mean, I don't like a commute personally, so if I could fire myself out of a cannon, I'd be like quite happy.
But what you see in here as well, and this is the pivot, because Joe always complains at me that he can't get a word in edgeways when we do interviews, and now it's the opposite way around. But I think what you're seeing is just how excited we are to just let people play everything we're showing, and it's just such great fun, and just seeing people smile and enjoy the game, and like you say, the riddles, like the first time you read it, it just makes you smile, like. Because it's, again, they're a little bit cheeky, they're a little bit fun, they're very rare.
But the first time we put them in, they weren't rhyming, were they?
Yeah.
And it was like, feels a bit like a shopping list, right? And then, but then as soon as we made that switch, it was like, whoa! And so Greg Mayles and Mike Chapman, our creative and design directors,
Were you sitting there having like a brainstorming, like let's all write some limericks together?
We have a spreadsheet of rhymes.
Yeah, literally.
You can go online.
Yeah.
You can go online and like you can type in rhyming dictionary.
Come on, don't spoil it. It's the fun, it's the creativity, right? It's like we're also
Do like burp, derp, lerp, merp. Okay.
But even
you're in.
I think we've announced this, but
Just say it anyway.
Yeah. But like at E3 this, so for like we have our technical alpha. Like we've obviously announced that, but we've got like up to, I think over 75,000 people now have got access to play the build, and that from tomorrow onwards they're going to be playing the same build that everyone here is at the same floor at home. So we've been saving up a few features for all those people that have been like to surprise and delight them as much as the broader audience who maybe haven't been aware of what we've been doing over the last year. But we've also put into the game a series of clues, a series of hidden treasure.
Right.
And we're going to be releasing like really complex riddles to our community over the next 3 days.
Nice.
And there are going to be prizes for the first crew to find them in the world.
Okay, what are the
for the next
prizes?
3 days.
Sorry?
Tell us what the prizes are.
Like just loads of like rare and Sea of Thieves goodie bags and all that kind of stuff, right? But
I love that.
And so we're kind of like running this event for all of the players at home. So they get to do something really cool and special even while we're here at E3 and getting loads of new players to play it. So
I love that.
Like, and it's so like writing those riddles was so great, and they are a lot harder to solve than the ones that are currently in the build as well. So
one of the things about the riddles is that you need to work together to solve them, right?
Yes.
That's a game design challenge.
Yes.
How do you encourage people to actually work together to do it?
Yeah, and everything in Sea of Thieves, as Joe said, pirate, like being a pirate, everyone knows what kind of pirate they want to be. I mean, I won't ask what kind of pirate you guys want to be, but
I think we know what one Graham wants to be.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a party pirate. But doing that in a crew. But doing that in a crew is much better because, like, everyone, like, going on adventures with your friends is awesome. So if you've got someone that's looking for landmarks and you might be exploring at night while someone else is lighting the way with a lantern, while someone's watching out for skeletons or watching out for other ships, like, everything in Sea of Thieves is designed to be done cooperatively.
But it's
is it right that like every ship in the world will be populated by real people? So like you got NPCs, which are the kind of characters on the islands that you're skeletons and stuff that you'll shoot at, but all the ships are basically other people, which means it's going to be so different every time because people are jerks online, right? Like
you've hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, and so, but like we've created like. The bond between the crew is sacred. That's kind of how we look at it. So, you can't kill the people in your crew. And everything in the game, how we've designed the ship, how we've designed the riddles, how we've designed everything, is all encouraged to be cooperative, right? Yeah. And so, it means, like Craig was talking about, if someone has a lantern out at night, they can't protect themselves with a weapon, and so you'll need somebody else to support you, etc.
Oh, okay,
But then when it comes to those interactions with other players and other crews, Like, that's where the magic is going to happen, because you're off on your adventure, you know, like following a riddle map or doing this, and
do you
and
have
then,
to fight them? Could you team up? Do you have to fight?
It's like it's in the player's hands.
Human
right?
nature.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like it's in
I
the
mean,
player's
they're
hands. You can
probably
have a
Gents,
truce.
I'm really sorry. We're going to have to wrap this up.
Sorry, I've got a
I could
million
honestly
questions.
talk about this forever, but I'm being told to. There's a quick
Yeah.
community question first. Graham
Okay.
from Aberdeen asks, when Xbox UK played Rare Limited at 5-a-side football, what was the score?
I just want to add
3-0.
I'll
answer it for you.
I had an ankle injury, so didn't
Oh,
make that
yeah, very
game.
good. Yeah, we all
And I was very
have
disappointed with the Rare team. when
Fine,
they got
we'll wrap
home.
this up now. Thanks to Joe and Craig. That was brilliant, gents. Honestly, thank you so much. Right now, it's time for an exclusive look at a brand new mode in the beloved Madden franchise.
A lot of us buy a sports game and know that we could not play in the NFL.
To me, this is like a personal story. It's part of my journey as a game designer.
And there was this moment that I, as a person, could completely identify with. As a storyteller, those are the moments that you strive for.
So Long Shot is the first story mode in the history of Madden. We have the privilege to bring to life a story about a new character, Devin Wade.
It's as if we put a sports movie into Madden.
I really hope they get that feeling that it's a playable film. You can play just like your Madden, you're gonna learn about football, but in the end, the quality of what we've made is truly not just cinematics in sports games, it's a movie that we made.
And the journey technically started 4 years ago, but it had been a dream of mine since I got into gaming in 1999.
I think the whole team centers around that. You know, they really believe in what we're doing. My background is 25 years of feature films and television, 9 features and 2 TV series. What's very important in games, as opposed to films, is agency. Agency means I have the ability to control the outcome. I make decisions. I play the game, obviously, but I also make dialogue choices and those kinds of things.
When we first started talking about Long Shot, it was an idea that Mike Young had had for years. He'd sat down and worked on the script and worked on the story, and he and I got together and tried to figure out, how do we take these moments in this story that feel a lot like montages from a sports movie? How do we turn those things into a game? How do we make it playable? How do we make it something that people aren't just sitting there watching for hours?
For years, we'd done intro video. It was inspiring, but it was not interactive. So our goal at the Madden 15 one was show off all the great new features, put you on the field. And that was the breakthrough where the audience told us then, we like this, we want more of this.
We've got gameplay that they've been asking for years. So 7-on-7 games, we've got high school games, we've got all these different mechanics. We have the end of the story is a really kind of special gameplay moment. And I think they all feel, it feels like Madden, but at no point do you ever feel like you're playing just the normal Madden experience.
You know, they take Devin's journey, which is learning how to be a quarterback for the NFL, and they get these great lessons through the game mechanics they're probably comfortable with, quick time events, branching dialogue, and they ramp themselves up to being comfortable to play Madden at a level that makes them feel empowered through this story.
The scenes change dynamically. People come in and out. There's a lot of cameos, a lot of color and richness and depth to it. That presented a lot of technical challenges. Result is the dreaded loading screen, right? You go in, you're in a story, you're in a narrative mode, and you hit this loading screen, and it immediately takes you out. Our engineers invented tech to make that go away.
So this has been a true partnership with Mike. After we got the script, we really started to talk about tone, the palette, what this is gonna feel like, how we're gonna transition between scenes, and that's when we really started talking about the global cinematography of Long Shot. So the weight and behavior of the camera is what viewers are used to seeing in a movie. It's what's familiar to them. So we knew that when we started to do Long Shot, that we needed to have a camera language using the DCAM to interpret our story. If you were keyframing this on a computer, this would take hours and hours, if not days, to do one shot. I can do hundreds of shots in one day and have them be more authentic than anything keyframe. This particular shot is Devin getting out of the truck. If I close my left eye, the only world that I have in my viewfinder is our digital world, is the world of Longshot. Longshot's a movie. Longshot's a playable film. I'm able to learn, I'm able to play Madden, but it's through the viewport of Devin and his best friend Colt.
When I sit and play it, I get emotional and I really care about it. It's part of the story, and trying to make those things hit home and really make you feel something as you're playing it, I think for me that's the most important thing.
There was a moment in Longshot where all of these crazy lights, all the dots, everything kind of disappeared, and it was this fight between these two guys, these two best friends who really were the only people in the world that mattered to each other, and there was this intensity between them, this intense competition, and everything else, all the tech, everything, it just disappeared.
Everyone can relate to Devin because people have at one point or another pursued their dream. Someone is going to watch this and you'll change their life because they will relate to Devin's journey.
I really hope you laugh. I hope you get angry. I hope you get excited. I hope it's intense. I hope all of those human emotions come true in this experience. And if we've done that, forget about what medium it is. It's just good storytelling.
One of the most delightful announcements of the last year's E3 was the colourful, customizable controllers of the Xbox Design Lab. And now I have a very, very special guest to talk about them, a man who isn't afraid of jarring colour combinations. It's Larry.
That's
Hi,
me.
Larry. How you doing?
I'm here to talk about this. Isn't this awesome?
Yeah. I mean, it's so. What's changed? How many colour combinations we have? Because you are a man who does like to.
Yeah,
I do like
colours. So for the controllers, 7.5 billion. That's with a B. Controller combinations. So we added some new colors.
Okay.
We also added. Can you see here? Can we zoom in on this? This is the metallic finishes for the triggers, and then of course on the D-pad as well. So doesn't that look delightful? And we added rubberized grips, which is one of the most one of the most requested items. And we have 4 new colors for the controller body, including, look at that, isn't that beautiful? Desert tan and mineral blue.
Mineral blue.
So delightful. 11 new colors for the thumbsticks, including ash gray, electric green, and lightning yellow.
I have to say, I'm probably most excited to be able to design a controller that won't show up all like my residual crisp residue from when I eat.
That's what the rubberized grips are for.
Yeah, I just need to make it like orange so that it matches like my cheesy crisp.
So should we add a bullet point to these are crisp resistant?
I need that.
I don't know if they are.
I do need that. I mean, because obviously you guys have had this over in the States for a little bit, but now you're coming to Europe. You're coming to the UK.
Well,
right?
I must tell you a funny story. Is Julie and I have worked quite a bit, and she keeps telling me I need one of these. Well, I'm happy to say that available today in the UK, France, and Germany, you can now order your customized controllers. And it's in more European countries later this summer, just in time for the Xbox One X launch.
I completely want one immediately, but I'm so indecisive it will take me 2 years to actually design it. I have to say. Anyway, up next, Xbox is putting its full weight behind indie gaming as this year's stunning new assortment of idea Xbox titles demonstrates. From familiar faces like Cuphead to stunning new surprises like the Darwin Project. And here's a look of some of the upcoming indie titles on the Xbox One X.
Up. Ain't no denying, you gotta be tough. This train ain't slowing down. This train ain't stopping now. This train ain't slowing down. We got it all. Oh, yeah. We got the world in the palm of our hands. Oh, yeah. Get the way where you still can. Oh, yeah. This train ain't slowing down. This train ain't stopping now. This train ain't slowing down.
Okay, folks, it's time to shine our ID spotlight on a promising batch of upcoming indie games. Joining me now is Director of ID at Xbox, Chris Charla. Hello, Chris. How are you, mate?
Good. How's it going?
Yeah, really good. We're here at E3.
I know, it's awesome.
What could be better? So we've got so many games to go through, like tons and tons of ID games here at E3 and in our briefing yesterday. Let's kick things off with the Darwin Project, right?
Yeah.
What can you tell us about that?
So Darwin Project, super cool game developed by some great developers up in Montreal. And it's basically a battle royale game, like 8 players, and you're in the cold, so you've got to keep warm or you'll freeze to death. And permadeath, and the environment keeps getting smaller and smaller, and so you've got to like track other people down. You can do cloaking. It's really an ideal game for streaming, and of course it's going to have Mixer integration. So if you're streaming, like the fans in the stream can actually influence the game, like give somebody a shield, drop a health, that kind of thing. It's actually going to be really, really cool.
Nice. That battle royale genre is really big at the moment, and of course there's nothing bigger than PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
Brilliant surprise to have that in the briefing. It is the hottest PC game right now, and it's coming to Xbox.
Yeah, it's going to be
exclusively.
fantastic. They're going to be bringing it to Xbox Game Preview later this year. We had Brendan Greed, like PlayerUnknown himself, was on stage with us at the briefing.
Yeah, it's great.
And the game is just, I mean, it's amazing.
How is it going to be different to the PC version? What
Well, I
can you
think it's going to
expect?
be really, really similar to the PC version. Of course, they're going to convert it to controller, but other than that, it's the same thing. 100 people come in, 1 person standing at the end. And, there's different strategies. You can go aggressive, you can turtle, it's up to you.
It's one of the things I love about ID is that you have big games like PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds coming to the servers, and it also gives smaller titles that people haven't necessarily heard of a chance to really shine, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we have games like, I'll just throw out Ooblets, which is a game that's going to be in the booth this week. And it's a really beautiful, sweet game. And it was made by 2 people in New Hampshire, and really, one programmer artist, and then, kind of business person, marketing person. And it's just a really pretty, charming game. And we have lots of games that are made by 1 person. It's kind of amazing.
And a fantastic range of game. In fact, over 500 games.
Yeah, we've
shipped
released,
through
I
ID
think
at
we're
Xbox.
like at 560 right now.
That's incredible.
And we really have a game for, basically every single taste on Xbox One. Whether you want hardcore action, whether you want sort of more contemplative like exploration, whether you're just looking for really cool art and exploration. I mean, it's totally up to you.
So that many games shipped through ID at Xbox already. Where do you go from there?
1,000, 2,000. I mean,
Good answer.
We have more than 1,000 games in development right now in the program, which is awesome. And I always talk about I love history, and so I look back in video game history, and I kind of mark 2008 is the year indie games kind of burst onto the scene. Back in the 360 era with games like Castle Crashers and that kind of thing. And it really started this indie golden age. And sometimes I think, oh, when's this golden age going to end? And I'm like, not
ever.
Like not anytime soon. Yeah. Like it's unbelievable the stuff that's come, the stuff that we're showing at E3, this week, and then just the stuff I know is on the horizon. Like the quality of games, you've been in the industry a long time, the quality of games today from like small developers and medium-sized, all developers is just like unbelievable compared to where things used to be.
Absolutely, and they're such unique and creative and imaginative games. So how have developers embraced ID at Xbox and used that ability to create the things that they really want to create?
Well, you just look at the breadth of content in the program, whether it's, Ashen, which is this, almost Dark Souls-like, really intense, game, all the way to, I'm spacing, but like with 500 games, it's hard to pick one out of the air. But there's just an incredible variety of games. Kind of regardless of your taste, there's going to be something there for you. And it's just great to bring that kind of variety and diversity to the platform and to players. And players have responded really, really well to it.
Good. Let's talk about the Creators Program.
Yeah.
What can developers do with that?
So the great thing about the Creators Program, when we launched Xbox One, we said, hey, Xbox One is going to be the best place in the world to play games, but it's also going to be a place to create games. And Creators Program really proves that. So right now, today, anyone can turn their Xbox One into a UWP Games dev kit, use their PC, write a game in Visual Studio using middleware like Unity, etc., deploy it to their Xbox One, and start playing it.
That's a game changer. That's phenomenal.
Absolutely.
And what's Creators Collection then?
So when you make a game in the Creators Program, and you want to ship it on Xbox One, you totally can. You can ship it on Xbox One, you can ship it on Windows, and on Xbox One, all the games will show up in a special section of the store called the Creators Collection.
Okay.
And then on Windows, they'll just show up in the main game store, just in the Windows section, in the game section.
So you're opening this up even further to absolutely anyone. So what kind of games do you think will come out of that?
I think we're going to see everything. I think we're going to see, you know, the beauty about like asking like what kind of games are we going to see is like I have no idea, and I mean that in a good way, right? Like I could have never predicted we would have Ooblets or PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds or Darwin Project, you know, coming from ID. But I think about the people who are going to make those games, and I think we'll get professionals, you know, folks who are in the ID program who just want to ship a game really quickly. But I think we're also going to see a lot of just experimenters, makers, hobbyists, students. And so what's cool about it to me is you look at Xbox One now, there's a place to make games there from everybody from, you know, giant, massive publishers who do these incredible blockbuster products, you know, through to, you know, medium-sized, small, even very small studios, and now all the way down to people who maybe this is the first time they've ever gotten a game running on a system, and it's on Xbox One, and they can just kind of like, you know, they don't even have to ship it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think there's something really to be said that just the act of creating a game, it teaches you so much about like what goes into it, and you know, you can, you know, if you want to appreciate a sport, I think you have to play it once or twice to really understand what's into it. And I think if you know, download, you know what you need to get going with Creators Program, the Dev Mode Activation app, which is free on the App Store, and just get in there and try and get something running, like you're gonna feel a lot different when you know, play a video game because you just know a little bit more about what goes into it.
Good stuff, right? I think we've got a community question here. I think we need to look at the monitor.
One question I would ask anybody from the Xbox team would be, when is Cuphead coming out?
Oh, my favorite question. It's absolutely my favorite question today because I can tell you that it is September 29th. Cuphead is coming out. You can pre-order it today. And it's looking awesome.
All right, Mr. Cancel will be very happy with that. Chris, it's an absolute pleasure.
Thanks
We go way back in this industry. We're just swapping war stories from back in the day there. So thank you, Chris. In a minute, we'll be talking all about the Xbox One X, but first we have a behind-the-scenes look at the Xbox One X developer kit.
Hi, it's Larry here of Xbox Live's Major Nelson. And yes, Project Scorpio is shipping later this year, but right now we're shipping another console to our developer friends. This is going to enable them to create great content, games, for you, the gamers. We're going to catch up with Kevin Gamble from the Xbox engineering team to tell us more. Kevin, thanks for joining us. I want to talk to you about the Scorpio dev kit. Why did we do a Scorpio dev kit?
So Larry, when we went and kicked off Project Scorpio, we actually went on the road and talked to our third-party development partners and talked to them about really what they wanted in a dev kit. It's important to the team, kind of the way we think about the development process is to get the tools out of the way of the developer and really enable them to create the game they wanted to create and kind of in the vision that they wanted to create it in, and make sure our tools are out of the way. And the dev kit is really an instantiation of the feedback we got from our third-party development partners and first-party development partners.
Can you tell us a little bit about game development? Why do we need a separate piece of hardware for game development?
That's a good question, Larry. One of the pieces of feedback we heard back from our partners was that many of them like to come in what I'll call kind of a higher spec than what the retail kits would be. And so it was important to provide kind of some additional headroom for the developers to come in, kind of so they could come in higher and then tune lower as they got closer to shipping their game. And that kind of enables them some faster iteration times where they can just get the game up and running and then tune later as they get closer to ship.
How is the dev kit different? I mean, physically it looks different. I see things on here that I haven't seen on Project Scorpio. So can you walk us through some of the differences?
Absolutely. Certainly a lot more headroom. So to start with, it has 4 more CUs than the retail kit. It comes with 12 more gigs of RAM, so it's got 24 total gigabytes of GDDR5 RAM, and it's got an additional 1 terabyte SSD hard disk drive, which lets game developers leverage that to really improve just what we call development iteration times, or kind of quick inner loop. So they can quickly debug something, for example, deploy it to the kit, get it up and running, test their kit, and then redo that over and over and over again, as quick as possible.
Kevin, the kit looks completely different from Project Scorpio. I see different buttons, I see a different display, some other things in the back here. What's going on here?
So all this is feedback we heard back from both our first and third-party development partners. This is the kit that even the Xbox platform team developers want to use. It is so good from the inside and from the outside. For example, the front panel display and the 5 programmable buttons. We ship with a number of what I'll call canned or samples for those, but those are programmable by the developer to do anything they want. So you can imagine a scenario in the lab where they have a headless scenario where they don't want to have a monitor for every dev kit. They can use these buttons to basically change the gameplay.
I've even seen some developers use like mini versions of their games so they can kind of see what the console's doing.
I hope we actually have kind of an open source ecosystem with this eventually in the long run. But game developers can do anything they want with it. I've seen frame rate, as you mentioned. I've seen mini versions of the game. I've even seen people create games specifically for the front panel display, just for fun.
Yeah, is it running Snake yet? That's all that really matters.
Snake is running, and I can show that to you.
I also noticed around the back, it looks very similar to a Scorpio unit, but there's an additional network port. Why do developers need that?
Yeah, it was important to us, Larry, that we have every port that is in the retail kit so they can actually test true retail scenarios, including HDMI in. But we did add a second NIC to allow developers to essentially monitor their network traffic on the main NIC and have all their debug traffic on the second NIC so the two wouldn't necessarily collide.
Kevin, one thing about the consoles is you can now stack them, and that may not sound like a big deal, but it actually is to developers.
Yeah, that was really actually hard for the hardware engineering team because in previous dev kits, the airflow and the cooling was actually through the top, making it impossible for game developers to stack these unless they actually created, and I've seen this in a few studios, some level of kind of buffer between the
like
dev
a riser.
kits. Exactly. I've been to game studios where I've actually seen Legos kind of in between the two dev kits. So that was a piece of feedback we heard, and we changed the way the airflow comes in. So it basically comes in the back and out the sides, and that allows the kits to be stacked 10 high. So for example, Turn 10 Studios has a great lab setup, and you just go in there and they have tons of Xbox dev kits stacked up to 10 high with only one monitor kind of controlling all of them.
Kevin, I want to talk about Dolphin. For those of us that have been in the Xbox team for a long time, it's a major moment when Dolphin appears on the console. Can you give us some history of Dolphin and how it appears on this XDK?
Absolutely, Larry. Dolphin has a lot of sentimental value for me. As we start a project, one of the first things we actually start to implement is Dolphin on console, and we've actually done this since the original Xbox. We've done it for the original Xbox, we did it for Xbox 360, we've done it for the original Xbox One, and now we've done it with Project Scorpio and its development kit. It's a way of bringing up the graphics subsystem and proving out some of the timings and performance we want in a kind of a neat, fun way, which you'll actually see in a minute because we actually have Dolphin hooked up with the front panel display on the dev kit. We actually can add dolphins, delete dolphins, just do wireframe dolphins. You'll see it in a couple minutes.
Kevin, I also noticed there's this additional piece of hardware hanging off the back here. What is that for?
That's what we call the Xbox transfer device. And one of the pieces of feedback we heard from our partners was iteration times are super important. And part of that iteration time is kind of deploying your build from a PC to the console. And what the Xbox transfer device facilitates is speeds up to 450 megabytes a second. So a deployment can actually happen in less than 4 minutes, where traditionally without that device it would take for a full build potentially up to 20 minutes. So it really helps them iterate quicker on their game title.
Sounds like you checked a lot of boxes for developers, and that can mean really one thing, which is great games coming to Project Scorpio.
You got it, Larry. You're absolutely right. Feedback so far, as we've sent dev kits out to our partners, has been fantastic, and I can't wait to see what they have at E3.
I got to tell you, it was great to see what we're doing for developers with the Xbox One X, but now let's see what we're doing for fans. Joining me now to talk about all things Xbox One X is Albert Pinello, who has been a part of every single Xbox launch since the beginning. You've been here longer than I have.
I have been here since a year before we launched the first console. That's right.
Wow. You don't look you don't look a day over 29.
Well, it's my 22nd E3, so that would have put me pretty young starting on Xbox.
Albert, one of the pieces of news that came out last week was the extra RAM. Tell us about the extra RAM that we unlocked for our developer partners.
So we have 12 gigabytes of GDDR5 memory in the console in total, but that has to run both games and the system software.
Yeah.
We had originally planned on releasing 8 gigabytes of RAM for games. We've increased that based on developer feedback to 9 gigs.
Right.
Which basically means we have as much memory for games in Xbox One X as any other system has in total.
Wow, that's now the graphical power, we've talked about that, of the Xbox One X is insane. We know it's going to have 6 teraflops of graphical power, but break that down. What does that mean to me? What does it mean to a gamer? I mean, I kind of know what it means.
More power. Look, I don't know what a teraflop is.
Right.
We've got 6 of them.
Wikipedia will tell you
that. It's a lot of them. Look
Yeah.
it up.
Yeah.
It's a measurement. It's a measurement of power, just like watts. It's basically how many trillions of floating point operations per second the GPU can calculate.
Right.
That means something.
Okay.
It means great games.
Now, one of the cool parts about it, of course, all of your Xbox One peripherals are going to work with Xbox One X, correct?
100%. It's part of the Xbox One family. All the games, all the accessories that you own, plug right in.
works great. Now, one of the things that I want to talk about are load times. Games load faster on Xbox One X.
They will. One of the things we had to think about when you're moving to a true 4K system with the level of resolution and detail and textures that you're going to be able to provide is load times. We know it's something that gamers care a lot about. So we actually included a 50% faster hard drive in Xbox One X than on the current consoles. What that means is that 4K games will actually load a little bit faster than a 1080p version. But if you're using your existing games, your 1080p games will load significantly faster in some cases than they do on the console you have today.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you that because I've been testing. I know you've been testing it at home, and it's awesome.
It is. It's great. I love the fact that right out of the gate, your games will load faster. If you have games with dynamic resolution or dynamic frame rate, those games will be running at their maximum performance. Better texture filtering in this box. Everything you own right out of the gate is going to look and play better than what you've had before. And then, of course, we announced all of the upcoming enhanced titles that are going to take advantage of the graphical capabilities.
Now, for those of you that don't know, Albert Pinello is on Twitter, at Albert Pinello. Yesterday you mentioned on Twitter that with Xbox One X you can play against all 3 generations of Xbox. Tell us about that. That's kind of crazy.
Look, we've got ninjas. I don't know for a better word than to call the guys that do our back compat program the ninjas. Anybody who's played a 360 game on Xbox One X has seen that in many cases the frame rates are better, the games look better. So not only are they going to apply that to the original Xbox games when they release later this year, they actually have System Link working back in Redmond with an original Xbox, an Xbox 360, an Xbox One, and an Xbox One X, all system linking, one disc, same disc, put them in each console. You can have your old school LAN parties again with your OG Xbox games.
I challenge you to try that with any other system. All right, Albert, do you mind if we take a question from the community?
Go for it.
All right, here we go. All right, last question. Hellspawn REI wants to know, what kind of sorcery did Albert use to make the Xbox One? Because I know you make these all by hand, Albert.
My fingers are killing me.
Yeah, I know.
That's all I can tell you. The spell casting that had to go. Look, it's not magic. It's a lot of hard work from a lot of really talented people that care about developers, they care about gamers. They wanted to make sure that our fans are playing the best versions of games on an Xbox. It's this thing right here. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of love for the fans.
Now, what I want to do is, we have done, over my career, we've done a lot of unboxings. Tomorrow, we have something very special for you on the show. We're not going to unbox it. We're going to take it apart and put it back together. That'll be on tomorrow's show. Anyway, Albert, thanks so much. The Xbox One X joins the Xbox family on November 7th. One of the biggest indie surprises from yesterday's briefing was the psychedelic world of Artful Escape. So if your mind is still reeling from your first viewing, it's time to take another look.
Yesterday, we learned that Minecraft has expanded their engine to include all of their platforms, so you can play everything together all on one server. And they also unveiled a Minecraft facelift in the super duper graphics pack. Here to tell us more about Better Together are Jens and Zach. So hi guys, how you doing?
Hi.
So we're going to be going sort of kind of quite deep into the super duper graphics pack a little bit later tomorrow, I think, or later this year, sorry, beg your pardon. But also I have kind of one question that I wanted to ask you today about it, which was, obviously Minecraft has a very distinct visual style, so updating the graphics is quite a tricky sort of proposition. How did you go about doing it? Because you don't want to lose the charm, but you want to sort of obviously refresh it to make it look a bit more romantic, yeah?
Yeah, our team has done a fantastic job of, they have been trying to make like how can we make Minecraft look in the most like awesome looking way with all like shaders and such that only been on Java Edition previously, but while keeping it true to like the lush colors of Minecraft, but also the Super Duper pack is a texture pack for people to enhance their the visual appearance of the game, but they can always return to the vanilla look.
You can switch between, basically.
Yeah,
you don't
exactly.
have to use it if you don't want to.
No.
But it does look beautiful. I mean, like, you know, for me, Minecraft has that kind of romantic charm, and I certainly feel like it captured that. You know, those beautiful sunsets, you know, when you're kind of flying around, so it looks really great. I mean, how do you feel like it's going to... Do you think it's going to add sort of to the player experience now, just having that extra bit of, you know, shiny 4K-ness about it?
Yeah, definitely. It's like Minecraft has been around for such a long time, and now this gives people a fresh look of things they've built. Like they can re-experience the game in one sense. So I think definitely yes, yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about Better Together. Like, what can we expect from this?
Well,
lots of new stuff.
Yes.
Lots of new. Come on,
I think the biggest thing is the crossplay.
Yeah.
Like for us, like our vision is to unite all Minecraft players and have them all play on the same version and be able to play with each other.
Yeah.
And the Better Together update brings consoles together with PC players on Windows 10 and all our mobile players, including VR, by the way.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it is Xbox One and Switch playing with everybody else. And that gives you access to, at the same time, servers, marketplace, and realms.
That's really amazing. I mean, talk about like really unifying everybody together. You know, because that was always kind of the dream with gaming, isn't it? That you could just play with anyone with anything, but it was not really possible. But you guys are actually bringing everyone together. It's like
it seemed like a dream for a long time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, we like all our that's what our console players want. They want to play with each other and they want to play Minecraft on whatever screen that they have it on. Like we have 18 different platforms we ship Minecraft to right now. And this brings most of them together. Like most of our players will now be able to play together.
So were there any kind of real kind of challenges when upgrading the kind of Bedrock engine to kind of bring all these platforms together? What kind of things did you sort of have to deal with?
Well, like to starters, like some of it is touch and there's mouse and keyboard and there's controller. So we have to support, like have menus for everything and have the game feel good, like no matter what input you use, seamlessly switch between them. But also, like, if you're playing on your iPad, that you can play with a console player and you don't feel like you're at a disadvantage or advantage for that matter. We spend a lot of time on that, on controller tuning, and like that's particularly what's happening for Better Together update is a ton of work on the controller and making it feel like just as good as all the other input methods.
I'm loving the names of it as well, because super duper, I use that phrase all the time, just generally. And Better Together, it's really nice. It's like, makes me feel things. My stony cold heart, like.
Well, glad we can help.
We actually have a question from the community, which is from Tostito. Will there be a new Minecraft soundtrack? Oh, that's a really good question.
Oh.
Can you talk about it? Is there one?
Like.
Well, we expand all the time.
Yes, and I think I actually think C418, who did the original soundtrack, is working on a new set of songs, Minecraft songs. And also we're working with Gareth. Help me out.
Oh, I don't remember his last name.
Yeah, who is making the music for our themed texture packs and also our mini games. Yeah. And he has also done the music for Ori and the Blind Forest.
I mean, the music is such an important stuff. Like even just watching, like when they're kind of playing stuff out. I listen to like C418, like to the soundtrack.
Yeah.
If I have a lot of things to do in London, which is quite stressful, I listen to that and it just stops me like rage commuting to other people because it just takes me back to being in Minecraft where everything's okay. I know what's going on. I know what's happening.
You'd be proud to hear that. I think we're doing the the super duper graphics pack is particular to upgrade the visual, and we have the same thoughts around sound that like to to somehow like enhance people's experience with sound and give people more options.
Yeah.
That's an important thing. We just haven't quite gotten to it yet.
I have Googled how much hand pans cost. So obviously that's quite the kind of seminal instrument, right? The hand pan. They're very expensive, but I really just want one, yeah. I really want one just because of Minecraft.
It's not a thing you pick up on Craigslist. No.
Anyway, so thank you so much to Jens and Zach. We got more Mojang folks back later to talk a little bit about PvP. And now, if you love fighting the undead with your friends, I mean, let's be honest, who doesn't? Let's take a look at 4-player zombie co-op State of Decay 2.
What would you do if the world you knew was gone? All the comforts, the simple pleasures you took for granted. How would you protect yourself and the ones you love when the protectors can't even save themselves?
Pulling out. Come on. Last truck. Get in. Some of this? How about you?
How will you decide who belongs?
Thanks. I owe you.
How will you choose a place to call home? How will you build it? Work together to defend it from the terror just outside the walls. When you get hungry, cold, what risks will you take? What mistakes will you make? When the only family you've got is about to tear itself apart, will you end a life?
Wait.
Or save it?
Please.
This is our only one, but we need everybody we've got. Too deep and realize no one gets a second chance.
How will you find the strength to carry on? In this world of the living and the dead, how will you survive?
Hey guys, we mentioned at the top of the show that those of you watching on Mixer would be eligible for some free goodies, and we did not lie.
We did not.
Yes, we've been playing on the Xbox One here at E3 and the new, obviously, Samsung QLED 4K TV. And if you haven't already upgraded your TV to a 4K model, we do have a little bit of good news. Each day of E3, one person watching this show on Mixer is going to get one.
That's right. Remember that you need to be logged in with your Mixer account and watching the Mixer/Xbox stream to be entered to win.
All right, we already gave away one Samsung QLED TV today to a lucky Mixer viewer, but tune in again tomorrow. Can't make it Wednesday, can't make it then. Thursday's your last chance, the final chance to win.
Good luck. Well, that is it for today's show. I'm sad that was a lot of fun today, but don't worry, this is only the beginning. We have so much more for you all week long.
Yeah, for the next 3 days, we'll descend to the LA Convention Center to bring you all the best games and news from the show floor.
And we've got so much more for you tomorrow when the doors of E3 open, so come back on Tuesday for more live gameplay from Crackdown 3. You'll see an Xbox One X built in front of your eyes, and the Force will be with us when we check out Star Wars Battlefront 2.
All right, thanks for watching Xbox Daily live at E3, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Everyone. See you later.
Product not yet rated.
There's no